Okay, so today is not that much going on. The first thing we're going to do is go over the homework. Then we're going to take the quiz, and then I'm going to have you get started independently on igneous rocks. I'll just actually show you what I want you to do before, just right after we go over the homework. Got done? Okay. Okay, perfect. So anyway, no, only if you don't finish it. All right, so I don't remember exactly how much we did in class together, but I'll just start here at the beginning. The first part I believe we did in class is that sedimentary rocks are formed when sediments get deposited, buried, compacted together. Igneous rocks are from melting solidification of magma, and metamorphic rocks are from heat and pressure directly from any other rock. I want to remind you of how you know this stuff because it's not anything you have to memorize. So again, you just have to read these backwards. So sedimentary rocks, read it backwards, are from sediments that get deposited, buried, compacted, and cemented together. Igneous rocks are when we have melted into magma and solidification, and metamorphic, read it backwards, are from heat and pressure. Name the rock type that comes directly from other rocks. So first of all, you got to realize what directly means. Means it doesn't make any stops. It goes directly from one rock to another. It doesn't make a pit stop. By a pit stop, these are the two pit stops I mean. So for sedimentary rocks to become, for any rock to become a sedimentary rock, it first has to be sediments that then get deposited and compacted together. For an igneous rock, for anything to become an igneous rock, it first has to stop at magma. Metamorphic is the one where it comes directly from without stopping anywhere else. So sedimentary becomes metamorphic from heat and pressure. Igneous becomes metamorphic by heat and pressure. And one metamorphic will become another metamorphic by heat and pressure. So the one that comes directly from another is metamorphic. You're going to want to make sure these are correct on your homework because this is a place for notes as well. So this is not only is this homework, it's notes. So you're going to want to make sure this is correct. Which rock type comes from magma? Right off the reference table, that's igneous. And which one comes from sediments? That is sedimentary. And what are three things that could happen to any rock? Let's just take a look at one rock. Here's sedimentary. It can melt into magma. It can get heat and pressure and turn into a metamorphic rock, or it can weather and erode and turn into sediments. Same with metamorphic. It can melt, it can weather and erode, or it can get heat and pressure. Same with igneous. It can melt, get heat and pressure, or weather and erode into sediments. So basically all three of them, they could melt and turn into igneous. They could get heat and pressure and turn into metamorphic. Or they can weather and erode into sediments. That will then turn into sedimentary. And I guess I should say up here, they will melt into magma and then turn into igneous. So any rock can basically turn into any other rock. All right, then at the bottom, there were some things on this bottom part that were a little above your head. Like this first one mentioned a conglomerate, which by next week, you will know a conglomerate is a sedimentary rock, but you could have gotten some hints from the actual question. It says a conglomerate consists mostly of fragments. What's another word for fragments that we learned yesterday? Guys, what are fragments? Not even in earth science. What's a fragment? A piece. So what do you think? A fragment of granite and sandstone. Those are sediments. They're pieces. Yes, they're pieces of granite and sandstone, which makes them sediments. And if you don't have this on your reference table, Basically, it's just a grain of sand. So sediments are pieces of broken rocks. If you want to add that, if you might forget that and you want to add that right to your reference table, you're welcome to. So sediments are just pieces of broken rock. I can take two rocks and set them together, and those little pieces I'm making, those little pieces are all sediments. That's how sediments form. So anyway, there's sediments of granite and sandstone. The best inference that can be made about the sample is that conglomerate is formed from other rocks. So conglomerate has pieces of granite and sandstone in it, so it must be formed from other rocks. Metamorphic rocks could be the direct result of, so from our reference table, we know metamorphic rocks form from heat and pressure. Now, nothing in here literally said heat and pressure, but heat and pressure is compaction is how you would put pressure on something. So if you squish it together, you're compacting it, and heating. So that would be that one. Same with number 3, there was some really fancy words in there. But, so you may not have known this recrystallization of unmelted material, but it tells you under high temperature and pressure. Temperature and pressure are metamorphic rocks. So just because you may not know all the words, there's always some clues in the questions that should help you out. Finally, on the back, rocks are classified as igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic based on how they formed. I think we need a big star here. Rocks are classified by how they form. Not what they're made out of, not what they look like. So last year you put birds in groups based on what they looked like, their beaks, their beak shape. This year we're putting rocks in groups based on how they were formed. This one you had to be careful because it says which statement about the rock cycle is not true. So to which one's not true, I made sure the other ones were true. Sedimentation is a process that leads to sedimentary rocks. Sedimentation right there leads to sedimentary rocks. When heat is applied to a rock and it melts, it becomes a metamorphic rock. Yes, heat is involved in metamorphic rocks, but they don't melt. If they melt, they are igneous rocks. So the melt is what's wrong in that one. I'm guessing question 3 you may have gotten wrong, and that's because we haven't talked about sedimentary rocks yet. But the burial process involving sedimentary rocks, it's usually at the surface. So, and by the surface, they mean like a couple 100 feet down or even 1,000 feet down. We're not talking about miles below the surface. So not deep within the earth, but pretty darn close to the surface. Solidification of magma only produces igneous rocks. And again, this last one, it did say not supported by the rock cycle. That is answer number 3. Metamorphic rock has undergone sedimentation. That's a sedimentary rock. So now we're going to start the quiz, but before we start, I want to show you what I'm going to have you do after the quiz. So we are going to be starting igneous rocks. And what you'll see on page 12 is a reading about igneous rocks. So when you are done, I'd like you to read that reading. I do see that, unfortunately, I meant to put this here. I'm not sure how it ended up on the wrong page. So you will have to do a little bit of flipping. But when you're done, I want you to answer this top chart here about both intrusive and extrusive rocks. So I want you to tell me their environment of formation, which just means where they formed. So environment of formation just means where they formed. How they formed. What I'm looking for is, do they cool Fast or cool, slow. Physical properties is what they look like. And give me some examples from the reading. So again, after you're done with the quiz, you're going to start the reading on page 12. So you're going to do the reading on page 12. And then fill in top chart. Is that page 14 then? Okay. And that will be homework if you don't finish. So again, reading on page 12 and then the chart on the top of page 14. You do not need to do the bottom half right now. We'll do that together tomorrow. So just the top chart, and those are what you're going to be looking for there. So does anybody have any questions? So what I'd like you to do right now is just put your packet, if you don't mind just flipping it over on the corner of your desk so that like a blank sheet is out in front of you, just so I know it's not minerals. And we'll be taking the mineral quiz right now.